Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Quran Weekly. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ba'd. Welcome to another edition of the Quranic Maxims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse for our today's Quranic Maxim, Ba'd a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. waqooloo lilnnasi husna. And say unto people excellent speech. Husna basically comes from the word hasana, which means beautiful, which means something that is just excellent in nature, in feeling, in every shape, way or form. Now, let us look at this verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, notice over here, is not calling upon us to say good speech to only Muslims. Allah didn't say waqooloo lilmu'minina, say unto the believing men. Or He didn't say waqooloo lilmuslimina, say good speech to the Muslims. He says waqooloo linnas, say unto people. This is a maxim which is embodying the whole social and societal fabric of the place we live in. Allah is saying that you as a Muslim, wherever you go, there should be only one thing remembered about you, that you have excellent speech. Now, how many of Muslims today, we have seen they come on television and they start fighting, bashing, doing all this stuff that does not befit the calling of Quran. How many times we see individuals in masajids, unfortunately, calling each other names based on sectarial differences or based on minor differences of understandings. And they say, oh, you are fulan. Oh, you belong to this category, and you belong, and then afterwards we take on a stance and we find that it's our, duty not to even respond to the person's salam. I know individuals personally who are students of knowledge, they're studying deen, but because they have a minor difference with a specific brother, they don't even respond to that individual's salam, let alone having kind speech towards him. So what is Allah saying over here? waqooloo linnas, that you as a Muslim, the only thing that people should remember you with is Muhammad is excellent in his speech. He has the best speech. He is kind. His words are amazing. They touch our hearts. And that's how Muslims should be. Specifically, if we're living in the West and you want to fight the Western media, there is nothing greater that you can do, which is in your hands, than to have excellent speech in instances where you're being oppressed. And that's where the true nature of Islam and the true qualities of a Muslim come out. What is included in qawl lilnnasi husna? What is this excellent speech? Imam Allāma Sa'di rahimahullah, he has mentioned that in his book Taysir al-Karim al-Rahman. He says that number one, calling people towards good. Number two, stopping people from evil. Number three, this is really interesting. Number three, having kind speech to mankind. Number four, refraining from foul language, which also enters, because again we all know the hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ who says that whosoever can't say something good, then let him be quiet. So if you cannot say something good and you feel like saying something evil and you keep quiet, that also falls under good speech, meaning you've refrained from a foul speech. Now, we need to understand, we need to look at this verse and notice how the first part of this verse, which we're not going to cover, but the first part of this particular verse, it's verse 83 in Surah Al-Baqarah, it talks about something really interesting. It talks about all the forms of ihsan with action. So it talks about how with your actions you can do good to different sectors of the society. And then the latter part of this verse is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding you to what? Aqimus salah wa atu zakah. Commanding you to establish prayer. Observe how the command to establish prayer has come after Allah has commanded you, or commanded the individuals in the verse, to do good with speech, and before that to do good with your actions. And this is why people hate practicing Muslims. Because we take on aqimus salah onwards and we forget the previous part. That in the verse Allah is commanding you to do good with your actions, physically, and then with your speech, and then Allah is saying وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ, and then go and establish prayers. I don't want anybody to misunderstand this, that they say, okay, Ustadh Ahmad is saying that, salah comes after and we need to focus on doing good with people. I'm just saying in terms of priority, definitely salah is first. But why is Allah put treating people kindly with good manner, and then having excellent speech towards them, and then Allah is telling us to do salah? The reason behind that is so that the name of Islam doesn't get tarnished. That's why people hate practicing brothers, because you meet a practicing brother or practicing sister and he's like, he has this frown on his head, and as if he has taken the oath not to smile, and you go and say salam to him and he's like, so wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And they have this, I don't know, misunderstanding or lack of understanding of what Islam was meant for. So let us not fall into that trap. And in this beautiful month of Ramadan, if you are faced with any trials or any sort of test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the hands of people of other faiths, remember this verse, waqooloo lilnnasi husnan, say unto people excellent speech. And inshallah you'll be setting a role model for individuals that you interact with, and as well as for your whole society. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.